Good afternoon. We are on the record at 12:54 p.m. This is the video deposition of Bryan Bly in the matter of Deutsche Bank versus Peter Malone, case number 2009 CA 007-211. Today's date is November 4th, 2010. Counsel, would you please identify yourselves for the record, beginning with the questioning attorney?
Christopher Forrest from the Forrest Law Firm, representing defendants Peter and Barbara Moreland.
Brett Forrest, Forrest Law Firm.
Jonathan Rosser, Shapiro and Fishman.
Jessica Conti with Shapiro and Fishman, representing plaintiff Deutsche Bank Trust Company.
Adina Poland with Ackerman Centerfit, representing City Residential Lending, Nationwide Title Clearing, and Bryan Bly.
Thank you. Would the court reporter please administer the oath, and we may begin.
Sir, can I just raise your right hand, please? You swear our firm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Sir, could you please state your full name for the record?
Bryan J. Bly.
And Mr. Bly, who is your current employer?
Nationwide Title Clearing.
During the deposition today, I'm going to refer to Nationwide Title Clearing as NTC, just for the purposes of brevity. Is that acceptable to you?
That's fine.
Okay. How long have you been employed by NTC?
Since March of 2003.
Have you had any other employers since March of 2003 other than NTC?
No.
What is your current job title with NTC?
Signing IC.
Signing IC? Is that correct?
Correct.
What does the IC stand for?
It stands for in charge.
And what does that mean, in charge?
I'm in charge of making sure my documents proceed in the correct order when I sign my name.
Does the in charge designation signify that you have management authority over other employees, or does it just refer to your own job?
No, it's just a positional title.
Okay. Are there any employees at NTC that are just designated signing employees but are not IC?
Yes.
Okay. So what will be the distinction between just a signing employee and a signing IC?
The distinction would be simply that, for example, my name's going to be the first on the document if I'm signing as VP, that I make sure it's routed to the next positional signer, and then when they're done, it's a fully signed document is presented to the notary to complete.
So would it be accurate to say that the IC designation indicates that you have some responsibility in kind of marshaling the document through the signing process?
Yes.
How long have you held that title, signing IC?
Probably 6 years.
Aside from the job duties you've already described to me, do you have any other job duties at NTC?
I create New York cover sheets.
And what do you mean by cover sheets?
The county requires an electronically downloaded cover sheet to accompany the document when it's recorded.
Does that aspect of your job duties have any application in the state of Florida? No.
No.
Okay. Just real quickly before we continue the questioning, when I ask questions, it's important that you give a verbal response instead of nodding your head or shaking your head. That doesn't translate well in the written transcript, so if you could remember to do that, that will be helpful.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. I'm going to show you a document I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit 1. Counsel, it's the same assignment we've already introduced. We should have copies.
Plaintiff makes a standing objection as to relevancy for any line of questioning regarding the assignment of mortgage.
Objections noted. I'm going to ask you to take a look at that document and tell me if your signature appears on it.
Yes.
please begin.
You just indicated that your signature does appear on this document we've marked as Exhibit Number 1. Are you indicating the signature block at the bottom of the page?
That's correct.
Do you have any specific recollection of notarizing this assignment?
Not specific.
Okay. Do you know if you had any role in the preparation of this assignment?
No.
No, you don't recall, or no, you did not have any role?
No, I didn't have any role.
Do you ever participate or have a role in the preparation of assignments at NTC?
No.
No. How was this assignment presented to you to affix your signature and notarize it?
Basically, assignments are routed to me in batches of 200 or so, and I'll sign them as I get them once they're signed by the other parties before me.
Okay. So, just to be clear, you have a work area at NTC, is that correct?
Correct.
And batches or stacks of assignments are brought to you periodically throughout your working day to affix your signature and notarize?
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about your work area at NTC in the time frame of January 2009.
It's just a desk where everyone within the signature area is within, I don't know, 15, 20 feet. You know, we're all right next to each other. And it's just a standard desk, no computer.
Okay. Is your desk within a cubicle area?
At that time, we were in adjoining cubicles.
Okay. During that time period, do you recall who was located in the cubicle to your left?
To my left would have been Vilma.
And when you say Vilma, do you
Would
mean
be Vilma Castro.
Vilma Castro?
And to my right would be Dorada and Crystal Moore.
So immediately to your right would be Dorada?
There was, she was actually one behind the other row of the cubicles. In other words, you'd have a space between, she'd be on the opposite side with Crystal Moore.
Okay. So there was another row of cubicles in addition to the row of cubicles you were in, and,
Right.
and that's where the desks of Dorata and Vilma were located?
And Crystal, no, at that time, Vilma was right next to me.
Okay, I misspoke. Your cubicle during this time period, did it have partitions on the side and in the front?
Partitions in the front.
But not on the sides?
Limited on the side, not a full partition.
So when you were sitting in your cubicle signing and notarizing documents, did you have a physical line of sight to the desk of Crystal Moore, for example?
Not a physical if I'm sitting.
Okay. What about a physical line of sight to Vilma Castro?
Actually, yes, if I turn.
So if you kind of leaned back and looked over, you might be able to see her sign something?
Right.
But as a matter of course, you weren't physically observing her during the day signing documents?
No, actually, she would finish a document and present it to me. In general, she would have been the last, on the order here. It would have went from Crystal to Dorada, since they're right next to each other. Then they would bring it over to Vilma, then to me.
Okay. And to repeat the question with regard to Dorada, during your workday, during this time period, you weren't physically watching Dorada sign documents?
Correct.
That's correct. When you were presented during this time period with assignments to notarize, were the assignments accompanied by a routing form?
Yes.
Can you tell me or describe for me that routing form?
Well, the routing form would, for example, have 200 loans and would have the loan numbers in a batch order of the loans for the loans to be in. And the routing form would explain what the next procedure would be after we're done. It would go to qual, where they would make sure everything was correct on the document. Then they'd submit it from there to the Treasury for checks, then to the recording. Oh, I'm sorry.
Submit it to where?
Well, we submit it to the dock inspector, which is our form of qual, and then it would go from the dock inspector to the Treasury. That's what the routing form would say, and then mailed out to the respective county.
Okay. When you were presented with assignments in batches of about 200 to put
Right.
your signature and affix your notary stamp to, they were accompanied by a routing form. Were they also accompanied by any other documents?
No.
And would you have any role in the preparation of the document before it reached you to sign and notarize?
No.
And who would physically bring you the stack of documents to notarize?
Depending who was the last signer.
So was it standard practice for the person who signed it before you to collect a batch of documents and then bring them over to you physically at one time?
Yes, or every now and then my manager would route them after she'd seen they'd been signed.
And when you say your manager would route them, she would physically collect them and bring them to you?
Right. I was only receiving documents as a notary that were fully signed. On top of the routing form, there's a place for you to sign off on every position on the loan. In other words, on this one, there'd be positions for the main signer and the two witnesses where they would sign above that they've completed signing all the documents, and then they would route it to me.
So on the routing form, everyone would sign off that they have signed every document in the stack?
Right.
And you said your manager would sometimes intervene. Who was your manager?
Elsa McKinnon.
McKinnon. This description of the process by which you received and signed documents, was that the standard process that's been used during your entire tenure at NTC?
Yes.
More or less.
Yes.
So there have been no significant changes in procedure during the time that you've been with NTC?
Not really.
This particular assignment that we've marked as exhibit number 1 in the signature block at the top, it's signed by Crystal Moore as Vice President of City Residential Lending, Inc. Do you see where it says that?
Yes.
Do you, in fact, know if Crystal Moore was a Vice President of City Residential Lending when she signed this assignment?
My knowledge is that we would have a corporate resolution where she could sign on behalf of them.
Okay. And how do you have that knowledge? Why is that your understanding?
Well, we don't have any documents printed without that resolution. I mean, it's just a standard of practice.
You testified earlier that you don't have any role in the preparation of the documents. So on what are you basing the statement you just made?
Oh, well, it was brought to our attention by our bosses that that's the procedure that they go to and what a corporate resolution involves, so that we would know that we'd have the signing authority.
So would it be accurate to say that someone in management at NTC told you that you and others had the authority to sign as vice presidents